Welcome to Senior Health Smart, your daily guide to heart health and smart aging. Eating these 10 fruits will sabotage your heart medication. The fruits that look healthy but could hurt your heart. I want to start this conversation with something I deeply believe. As we grow older, our health should be protected with clarity and care. I am here because I want to spread positive values, especially when it comes to the heart health of seniors in America. One of the most misunderstood risks today is not just in processed foods or fast food. It is actually hiding in your fruit bowl. Yes, the fruits you eat with the best intentions may be silently interfering with your heart medications. You may be surprised, but some fruits that seem innocent can trigger dangerous reactions in your body, especially after the age of 60. I recently met a patient named Robert, a 74-year-old retired mechanic who had been struggling with blood pressure control. He was on medication and followed every instruction to the letter, but something was off. Despite taking his prescriptions daily, his blood pressure remained high and irregular. We ran all the usual tests and nothing made sense. That is until we looked at his diet. Robert loved grapefruit. Every morning he drank a large glass of grapefruit juice thinking it was a healthy habit. What he did not know is that grapefruit contains compounds called furanocoumarins, which block a liver enzyme responsible for breaking down many heart medications. In other words, the grapefruit made his medication too strong and unpredictable. Robert is not alone. Many seniors believe that fruit is always healthy, but the truth is far more complex. Some fruits interact with the medications by making them too powerful, increasing side effects, or making them too weak, reducing their effectiveness. These interactions can lead to serious consequences like irregular heartbeat, low blood pressure, excessive bleeding, or even hospitalization. What makes this more dangerous is that the effects are not immediate. They build up silently, making it harder for doctors to find the root cause. If you are taking medications for your heart, cholesterol, blood pressure, or blood thinning, you must know the fruits that could interfere. You need to protect your medications, not sabotage them. This is not about fear. It is about knowledge. When you know what to avoid, you can make better choices for your heart. Over the next few minutes, I will walk you through the 10 fruits that may quietly work against your health and explain what you can do instead. You will learn how to spot the warning signs and make smart swaps that keep your heart strong and your medications working as intended. And if you think it is only exotic fruits or rare interactions, I encourage you to stay with me because some of these fruits are in almost every American kitchen. What you learn today might just prevent the next big health scare. Grapefruit and pomegranate, the hidden medication blockers. Let us begin with the biggest offender, grapefruit. This fruit has long been marketed as the breakfast of champions. It is tart, low in calories, and rich in vitamin C. But what you are not told on the label is that grapefruit interferes with a group of enzymes in your liver called CYP3A4. These enzymes help break down drugs like statins, calcium channel blockers, antiarrhythmics, and some anticoagulants. When grapefruit blocks these
Arteries,
enzymes, it can make your
high
medications
cholesterol,
stay in your
high blood
bloodstream
pressure, and
longer and
lifestyle
stronger than they
choices
should.
like smoking,
This means your
alcohol
body is
consumption, and
overdosing
lack of
without you even realizing it. The side effects can include muscle breakdown, kidney damage, dizziness, and even heart rhythm problems. Grapefruit juice is especially potent. Even small amounts can create a cumulative effect. That is why many prescription labels warn against it. But even whole grapefruit segments can be problematic. If you are on medications like amlodipine, simvastatin, or clopidogrel, it is best to avoid grapefruit entirely. The risk is simply not worth the nutritional benefit. Now let us talk about pomegranate. This fruit has exploded in popularity over the last decade. You see it in juices, supplements, and wellness drinks. It is packed with antioxidants and promoted as heart healthy. But for people on medications, especially blood thinners and blood pressure meds, pomegranate can act just like grapefruit. It also affects the CYP450 enzyme system and can alter how drugs are metabolized. A patient of mine had a minor stroke after switching to pomegranate juice as his daily beverage. His medication dose was stable, but the fruit silently altered his levels, causing his blood to become too thin and unstable. What makes this more alarming is that most people never suspect fruit as the cause of medication issues. They look at salt, sugar, or fat, but never at what is in their smoothie. And most doctors, unless specifically trained in nutrition and pharmacology, may overlook these details. That is why it is crucial for you to know what is on your plate. You do not have to fear fruit, but you do need to be strategic. Instead of grapefruit, you can enjoy oranges, which do not interfere with liver enzymes. Instead of pomegranate juice, opt for berries, which offer antioxidants without altering drug metabolism. Remember, it is not just what you eat, it is what your body can handle safely. And for seniors who are already managing multiple prescriptions, being careful with fruit is a powerful act of self-care. Bananas, kiwi, and oranges. When potassium becomes a threat, most people think of bananas as a harmless snack. But for those with heart conditions, especially those on ACE inhibitors or potassium-sparing diuretics, bananas can become dangerous. These medications already raise potassium levels in the blood. When you add potassium-rich fruits like bananas, kiwi, or even oranges, the total load may exceed what your kidneys can safely filter. The result can be hyperkalemia, a condition where high potassium levels affect your heartbeat and can lead to sudden cardiac arrest. Let me give you an example. Martha, a 69-year-old retiree, loved having a banana every morning. She also took lisinopril for blood pressure and spironolactone for heart failure. Her labs began to show elevated potassium. She felt weak, had occasional palpitations, and thought it was just age. When we reviewed her diet, it became clear that her healthy banana habit was pushing her potassium too high. By simply reducing her intake and balancing her meals with lower potassium fruits like apples and berries, her symptoms improved and her labs normalized. Kiwi is another silent contributor. It is high in potassium and vitamin C and often recommended for digestion. But when combined with certain medications, it becomes a risk. The same applies to oranges, which, while safer than grapefruit, still pack a potassium punch. For seniors on multiple medications, potassium overload is a concern that must not be ignored. Potassium is essential for nerve and muscle function, including the heart. But too much is just as bad as too little. Symptoms of high potassium include weakness, fatigue, numbness, and irregular heartbeats. If not addressed, it can lead to serious cardiac events. This does not mean you need to fear these fruits forever, but it does mean you must be aware of your medication profile and adjust accordingly. If your doctor has warned you about kidney function or electrolyte balance, ask whether your fruit choices are safe. Better yet, consult a registered dietitian who can tailor your nutrition to support your medication, not conflict with it. Fruits like apples, blueberries, grapes, and watermelon are safer alternatives that offer fiber, hydration, and antioxidants without the potassium overload. Mangoes, pineapple, and papaya, the tropical trap for heart meds. Now let us move into the tropical zone. These fruits often appear in smoothies, fruit salads, and juices marketed as superfoods. But for seniors on heart medication, mango, pineapple, and papaya can create a different kind of storm in your body. Let us begin with mango. This sweet, rich fruit is high in natural sugars and has a moderate glycemic index. That means it raises blood sugar more than other fruits. For seniors on beta blockers or diuretics, this spike in glucose can be risky. These medications can mask symptoms of low blood sugar, and at the same time, when paired with high sugar intake, they can throw off your insulin sensitivity. Over time, this messes with your cardiovascular health, increasing the risk of metabolic syndrome or stroke. Mango is also a problem for those taking antiarrhythmic drugs. It contains a compound that may inhibit certain liver enzymes, making it harder for your body to process medication like amiodarone. So while you think you are choosing something light and nutritious, your medication may be building up in your system, causing dizziness, fatigue, and irregular heartbeat. Now let us talk pineapple. It seems harmless, juicy, and refreshing. But pineapple contains a natural enzyme called bromelain. Bromelain is sometimes used in supplements for inflammation and digestion. However, when consumed in excess, especially through concentrated juice, it can enhance the effects of blood thinners like warfarin or aspirin. The result, increased risk of bleeding, bruising, and internal clotting complications. Pineapple also affects platelet function, which can be dangerous when you are already on antiplatelet therapy. One of my patients, Margaret, was 70 and recovering from a mild heart attack. She had begun drinking pineapple smoothies daily as part of a cleanse recommended by a neighbor. Within 2 weeks, she showed signs of internal bruising, and her INR test, a measure of how long it takes blood to clot, was dangerously high. Her warfarin dose was fine. The pineapple had silently pushed her blood into an overthinned state. We stopped the smoothies, and her levels returned to normal. Papaya, often marketed as a gut-friendly fruit, brings its own complications. It contains papain, another enzyme that can interfere with the clotting process. In large quantities, or when taken with supplements, papaya can potentiate the effect of anticoagulants, increasing the risk of hemorrhage. Additionally, unripe or semi-ripe papaya may interfere with certain antihypertensive drugs by altering how your body absorbs them. Here is the key takeaway. Tropical fruits are not off-limits, but they require caution, especially when you are on medication. Small servings once in a while are generally safe if you are not on blood thinners. But if you take medications that regulate your heartbeat, control your blood pressure,
Caused
or
by
prevent
plaque buildup
clots,
along the
then
inner walls of the
high-enzyme
coronary
fruits should be
arteries,
limited
the
and
major
always
blood
monitored.
vessels that supply
The
the heart
safest
with blood,
approach is moderation and
oxygen, and
diversity.
nutrients.
Choose a variety of fruits in smaller portions rather than overloading your body with one type every day. And always inform your healthcare provider about your diet, especially when you start or stop any regular fruit consumption. Your heart depends not just on medicine, but also on what surrounds it daily. Cherries, figs, and avocados, the final trio that may turn against your heart. Let us now explore the final three fruits that many seniors consider heart healthy, but can quietly work against your medications. Cherries are often praised for their anti-inflammatory properties and rich antioxidant profile. They are also commonly used to manage symptoms of arthritis or gout. But for individuals taking blood thinners like warfarin or antiplatelet agents such as clopidogrel, cherries can increase the risk of bleeding. Why? Because they contain salicylates, compounds similar in function to aspirin that naturally thin the blood. When combined with heart medications that already reduce clotting, the effect can tip over into danger. Nosebleeds, bruising, bleeding gums, or more serious internal bleeding may occur, especially if you eat large quantities regularly. Figs are another underestimated concern. They are loaded with fiber, which is generally a good thing. But for those on blood pressure medications or diuretics, figs may reduce potassium levels too quickly due to their natural diuretic effect. On the other hand, if eaten in excess, dried figs are high in potassium, which can create the opposite problem, especially when combined with potassium-sparing medications. This double-edged sword makes figs tricky. If your kidneys are not functioning optimally, or you are already balancing potassium through prescriptions, figs could quietly shift your electrolyte balance. It is easy to miss the signs until fatigue, muscle cramps, or an irregular heartbeat tells you something is off. Now we arrive at the most controversial of all avocados. Technically, fruit avocados are a favorite in heart-healthy diets due to their good fats. However, for seniors taking medications that already elevate potassium levels, avocados can be problematic. A single medium avocado contains nearly 700 milligrams of potassium. For someone on ACE inhibitors, ARBs, or potassium-sparing diuretics like spironolactone, this additional load can tip the balance toward hyperkalemia. This is a dangerous condition that can cause heart palpitations, numbness, or even sudden cardiac arrest if untreated. One of my patients, Henry, had been told that avocado toast was good for his heart. At 71, he ate it almost daily with eggs, thinking he was doing the right thing, but his blood tests revealed his potassium was edging into dangerous territory. We did not need to remove avocados completely. We just reduced the frequency and paired it with low potassium options. Balance, not fear, made the difference. The lesson here is not to label fruits as good or bad. It is to recognize that nutrition is deeply personal, especially when medications are part of your life. Seniors today are often prescribed multiple drugs for blood pressure, cholesterol, arrhythmia, and clot prevention. These medications work hard to protect your heart. Do not let the wrong fruits quietly undo their benefits. Instead, build a fruit strategy. Choose low potassium options like apples, pears, blueberries, and watermelon. Rotate your fruits to avoid buildup of risky compounds. Drink water instead of concentrated fruit juices. And always consult your doctor or dietitian before making any major dietary changes. Let your food work with your medication, not against it.